Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our monthly Q&A call with Bob Proctor. My name is Tracy Caligiuri, and I'm excited to welcome you to our monthly call. Bob, if you are ready, we have tons of questions to get started with.
I'm all ready, Tracy. Let's go.
All right. Our first question is from Shirley, and she says, I have worked at my day job for the past 30 years. The information shared in this program is mind-opening. What suggestions do you have for multiple sources of income? I know 2018 will be my best year.
Well, what you don't want to do is look at multiple sources of income as multiple jobs. That's, if a person not really into this, that's the first place they go. They think of getting a part-time job or something. Usually, multiple sources of income, people that do it well, they have spin-offs of what they're doing. Like right now, I'm working, well, I'm doing a number of different things, but one thing I'm working on is a new program. When that new program is finished, we will sell that for a long time. That's a source of income. I was mentioning yesterday on a call, if I was starting over, I would go into network marketing. Now, most people say, oh, what would you do that for? Anything we don't understand, we have a tendency to criticize and ridicule. I think it's the best way in the world of setting up multiple sources of income. The bottom line is most people that go into network marketing don't earn any money. They don't do well, and they create a bad reputation for what I think is a great industry. They work with the wrong people. They don't get sound advice. They're talking to people that are not winning, and that's where they're following them. My wife had a financial planning company many years ago, and I was going on a convention for Prudential of England to Spain. There was two of them, Spain and Amsterdam, two different conventions. And I said, why don't you come? It's not going to cost you anything. And they treat you royally. She said, I can't, I have to work. Now, she had this business where she had finally a lawyer working for her, an accountant working for her, and salespeople. And she was working all the time. Now, she was earning reasonably good money, but, I mean, she had to be there. And she said she couldn't go, she had to work. That's when I quoted Michael Gerber. I said, he said, if your business requires your presence, you don't have a business, you have a job. And I said, if I were you, I'd quit. Because you haven't got a good job. You've got to be there all the time. Well, she did go away, and when she came back, she sold the business. And then she didn't know what to do. And I said, well, what do you want? She said, what do you mean? I said, what do you want? So I finally talked her into sitting down and make a list of what she wanted. Well, she wanted to earn a lot of money. She didn't want to have any employees. She wanted to be able to work from wherever she wanted to be. And she went on and on. And I said, well, that looks like network marketing. Well, she felt like I insulted her. And I said, well, what do you know about it? Explain it to me. And she couldn't. And I told her that. And I said, and we don't understand. We have a tendency to criticize and ridicule, and that's what you're doing. I said, I know a man that's earning somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million a month. If you want to go and sit down and talk to him, I'll make an appointment for you. And so she did. And she went through right across the country to meet him. And she come back, she's earned millions of dollars. Well, that was 20-some years ago. Now, I wouldn't go and do that now because I've got a very mature business. I've been working at this for a long time. But if I were starting over, that's what I would do. Because you can have multiple sources of income and you don't have to work that hard. But you've got to work with the right people and you've got to do what they tell you. Go with somebody that's really good at what they're doing and then follow their direction. And that's what most people don't do. So that's what I would tell you. Okay?
Okay, and she has a second question. A friend started a car repair service. After the first 6 months, the business closed, had staff issues, etc. Would you say not having the proper attitude to running a business could count for this failure?
Well, possibly. But that's a very tough business. It's very labor sensitive. And you're not going to earn a lot of money at it. So you have to hire people that are not going to earn a lot of money. And sometimes they're not the most dependable, and sometimes they don't have a great attitude. Attitude controls everything. As you study into the attitude lesson in Lead the Field, it explains it. There's a power that flows to and through you. And when it flows into your consciousness, it has absolutely no form. It's a clear, unadulterated energy. It's pure spirit. And our consciousness, we make out of it whatever we want. That's where our thinking starts it. And then we get emotionally involved with that. And then that emotional involvement dictates the vibration we're in. Well, the expression on the conscious, the subconscious, and the physical level the composite of it is called attitude, the understanding of what it is. Okay?
All right. Next one is from Michael. Would mailing out samples of a product be considered an increase of service?
Could be. Could be. Yeah. I think when you're talking about increase of service, you're trying to improve the life of whoever you serve. So you have to ask yourself, would this help those people? And if the answer is yes, then you're on the right track. See, the trick is to get the mind off yourself and get it on other people. Most people are wandering, they're really just tuned into themselves. They're what they're thinking about. Not what somebody else is thinking about. And if we really focus our attention on the person that we're working with, the company that we're serving, the individuals that we're working with, we will never have a problem. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to face challenges, because you will. But the secret of life is to help other people enjoy more of it. And the better we get at it, the more we enjoy. Okay?
All right. Next one is from Raymond. Whenever I have an aha moment, I actually feel something tingly, like vibrations coming out of my body. Am I going crazy?
No. Well, that's exactly what it is. An aha moment is a very positive awareness, and it just, you know, and it does change your vibration. Yeah, you're not going crazy. You're just starting to trigger something in your mind that you're probably not used to triggering. It's great. I remember when I first started to study it, man, I was walking around with a smile on my face almost all the time. And I couldn't understand why everybody didn't want this. No. I remember one guy said, well, St. Paul, are you going to save us all? I was trying to give it to everybody. Not everybody wanted it. But that
All right.
Okay.
Next one is from Nadine. Although I want to earn $88.888 a month, I want to spend more quality time with my family. It seems to me there are side effects in my way to my real goal. How do I know what my real destiny or goal is?
Well, your goal is whatever you decide on. You've got to establish your purpose. Tracy, give everybody purpose, vision, and goals lesson. Send it to everybody that's on the Lead the Field list. Okay?
Okay.
Now, there's a purpose. That's why you get out of bed in the morning. That's why you go to work. That's why you're doing what you're doing. You have a purpose in life. And once you've decided on that, then you build a vision. Now, a vision is like a funnel going from your mind and going out and getting wider and wider and wider. And it's a long-range vision. It's actually a multiplicity of things that you want, goals that you want to set, things you want to do, place you want to go, things you want to have. And it's a vision. You see all this. Then the goal is taking a bite out of that. Where am I going to start? Right here. You don't have to sacrifice your time with your family to reach a goal. And I mean, all those 8s look nice, but do you really want that? Is that really what you want? That's what you have to ask yourself. And you want to make sure your goal is in harmony with your purpose in life. Okay?
Okay. Next one is from Sarah. Dear Bob, please tell me how to make a real committed decision. For example, to buy a house and not enough money. Please tell me all the necessary steps. Many thanks.
Well, listen, you don't think I want to buy a house and I haven't got enough money. They're opposing ideas. That's like wanting to be married and single at the same time. It isn't going to happen. If you want to buy a house, pick the house you want. Get a picture of you in the picture with the house. And then all you do is spend your time thinking of how am I going to get that? Well, the first thing you want to find is how much money do I need to get it? First house I bought was, relatively speaking, a lot of money. It was $200,000 or $300,000, something like that. I didn't have any money. And the agent wanted 10% deposit or something. I said, I don't have 10% deposit. So anyway, I scraped together $5,000 and I said, here, you go get it with this. And she said, well, they're not going to take that. And I said, wait a minute, your job is to get it for me. That's why I'm paying you. You get them to agree to the, the offer, and I'll close it in 90 days or something like that. Well, she did. Now, I had to find $100,000 in 90 days. I'm going to tell you, I got very creative, and I found it. I got the $100,000, and I got the house. You first of all pick the house you want, and then you get a picture of yourself with the house. And then there's no option, I'm going to get it. You got to find out how much you need, and then just think of how you're going to get it. And don't even entertain the thought that you can't. And you will figure it out. Okay?
Okay. Next one is from Jose, and he has 2 questions. First one, as far as I understood, to impress and reprogram our subconscious, we must constantly repeat an affirmation. Is there any other way?
Well, you don't have to consciously repeat it. Let's suppose you put on a song and you played it just like background music, but it has lyrics. And you just keep that thing playing wherever you are, doing whatever you're doing. You're not maybe paying attention to it. Every now and then you will. In a relatively short period of time, you'll know that song. You'll be humming it. You'll be singing the tune. You'll be singing the lyrics. Just being in that environment plants it in your subconscious. It's a repetition of it being planted in the subconscious. When you're not thinking, whatever's going on in the environment you're in is going right into your subconscious mind. That's why it's so vitally important. We're very selective about the people we spend a lot of time with. Like I always say, I don't think I'm any better than anybody else. But there's a whole lot of people I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with because they're not going anywhere. They're not going to do anything. And if I spend a lot of time with them, when I'm not thinking, their thinking's going into my subconscious mind. I'm going to become like them. That's why welfare recipients are 3rd, 4th, 5th generation welfare recipients. It's why people go to prison, they get out, they go right back again. The recidivism rate in prisons up around 85 or 90%. That means 8 or 9 out of every 10 people that leave prison go back. They're programmed for crime. That's all they talk about when they're in there because they're in with other criminals. It's your environment. Be very selective. Just understand whatever you continually impress upon your subconscious will eventually become fixed and it'll be part of your paradigm.
His next question, if I set a goal for 5 years from now, can I also set a subset of minor goals with shorter time duration as part of the 5-year goal plan?
Sure you can. Sure. In fact, if you were in New York and you were going to drive to Los Angeles, I don't think you'd just be thinking of Los Angeles. You'd probably think, I'm going to get to, I don't know, maybe Nashville. From Nashville, I'm going to get to Memphis. From Memphis, I think I'll get to Dallas. And that's the way you'd go. But you would end up in Los Angeles. So you set, if you're going to the top of Mount Everest, you don't just focus on the top of the mountain. God, you'd fall in a crevice and die. And some do. You'd have stages. You got to first get to base camp. Yeah. You're on the right track.
Okay, next question is from David. I'm really enjoying the Lead the Field program. Why is it easier to attract a passing thought about someone than a large goal I spend more time focusing on?
It's where your paradigm is working. That's what you're programmed to do. And you got to start, you see, what you're saying is, if I'm not thinking, that's where my mind goes. Well, start thinking, keep thinking. Have little memory joggers. Put something on the dash of your car, on your mirror at home. Carry a crumpled up piece of paper in your purse or your pocket. And what you're doing is having ideas that trigger focus, focus, focus on what you want. See, one way, you're living through your senses. You're going by what you see, hear, smell, taste, touch. The other way, you're using your higher faculties. You know? And perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, intuition. And that's where you're digging into the power within you and you're bringing it to the surface. Big difference.
Next one is from Tim. As per lesson 10, is there a vocabulary building program that you would recommend?
You know, I bought a few books on vocabulary, bought a few books on words. I never spent a lot of time on any of them. Yet I think I have a respectable vocabulary today. I think if you start reading a lot, and when you get to a word you don't understand, look it up in the dictionary. You see, at one point, I had a very limited vocabulary. And I guess listening to Earl, it made me aware that your vocabulary is very important. And it's important from this perspective. Words are symbols. And every symbol has a corresponding image. And every image sets up a corresponding vibration. And every vibration sets up a corresponding action. And every action sets up a corresponding reaction. So what you're doing, you're starting the cycle of energy moving through you. Words are very important. You get into, the good book. In the beginning was the word. Words are very important. But now when you come to a word you don't understand, look up the meaning of it. And if somebody's saying something to you and they use a word you don't understand, don't be at all embarrassed to say, pardon me, I don't know what that means. Ask them. I wouldn't hesitate for a second to ask a person what they mean. Most people will just be quiet. They don't want to advertise their ignorance, and they'll just think they're going to let everybody think they're pretty smart, really, and they're staying in a very stupid vibration. It doesn't make sense. Next one.
All right, next one's from Shirley, and she has two questions. First one, how can I prepare myself to be able to notice the opportunities that are lurking around?
Well, it was like the person that just asked about buying a house. Once you make the decision to buy the house, you're going to see opportunities that'll help you earn the money that you need to get there or to find the money. When you have a goal and you're really emotionally involved in it, you're looking for ways to get there, you're going to be aware of everything that's going on around you. See, there's all kinds of stuff going on around us now that we're probably not aware of. You'll start noticing things you never noticed before because you've moved your mind onto a different frequency. Your perspective of everything changes. Perception is a mental faculty. And you change your perception of something and everything changes.
Right, and her next question, in a world where majority reacts to circumstances, how can I ensure that I stay on track and not get distracted?
Well, you've got to remind yourself of it frequently. And again, it's the people you associate with. You have to ask, how do I spend my days? What am I actually doing? Because I'm going to tell you, that'll show what's going on inside. I'm into building this business. My mind is constantly working at it. I'm always thinking of ways to improve, to expand, to make it bigger, to make it better. That's where my mind goes. So I can take a look at what I'm doing and it'll tell me what's going on inside. Now, if I'm doing stuff that doesn't amount to too much, I got to check myself. I'm wasting my time.
Okay. Next one is from Tommy. He says, in less than 9, Earl says, be realistic about your financial goals. How does that fit with C-type goal setting?
Well, a lot of it, see, when Earl made this program, he was actually preparing to make it in the late 50s, early 60s. Now, Earl Nightingale was a brilliant guy. I mean, he wasn't just an ordinary individual. He was a highly successful individual. He retired a millionaire at 35 years of age. He didn't stay retired long, but there's always been a small select group of people. They just seem to have an awareness of things to do. They are aware that things operate in an orderly way. Earl was one of those people. However, back in 1960, if he had worked all the laws into the program that I worked in here, nobody would have bought the program because they wouldn't have understood it. So he hid all the laws, and they're all in there. And it was me, after I had done fairly well, I wanted to know, how did this happen? I knew I wasn't lucky. I knew I wasn't so very smart. So what did I do? Well, it took me a long time, but I started to study. It took me 9.5 years. And I realized it was the repetition of listening to these programs. And he has all the laws mixed in there. You know, and one day I was talking to Vic Conant. That was Lloyd Conant's son. That's Lloyd was Earl's partner. And I worked for both Earl and Lloyd. And Vic said, Bob, why don't we record all this with Lead the Field? And that's where this came from. So what we've got in here, there's some very powerful stuff. And you've got to keep studying it every day. And if you're having trouble doing it, it's because you haven't formed the habit of doing it yet. I study every day. Okay? What else you got there, Trace?
Next one is from Derek. Since I am currently unemployed, do you have any suggestion to provide services to people? Sales and marketing doesn't align with my purpose. Can you think of an MSI other than network marketing?
You said what, sales and marketing? Well, what is your purpose is? I don't know if you get into internet marketing. I would have to spend some time talking to you, Derek. Find out where your talents lie. Like, what are you naturally good at? See, I think you can find all kinds of spin-offs doing what you're really good at. And if you're unemployed, why are you unemployed? Why aren't you doing something? Being unemployed is not a good thing to be. A lot of it has to do with your talent. Now, I think you can develop talents. If you've got a desire to do something, you'll develop the talent to do it. But some people, you have obvious talent and you know there's some things you're really good at. Well, you can get into that. And a lot of them you can turn into profit situations and you can spin off MSIs from it.
Next one is from Ziba. Says, how can I deal with day-to-day situations with people in my family that are abrasive, frustrating, and hurtful? The more I learn from you, the more alone I become in my life. Please advise.
Well, I would suggest you don't spend as much time with them. Don't go around them so often. Now, if that happened to be your spouse and your kids, then, you're into a bit of a difficult decision process. But you don't, I one time saw a sign that says you're giving your relatives, thank God you can choose your friends. It's important that you spend time with people that are upbeat, that are directed in their life, that really understand, that are into studying this. Okay? Now, let's suppose you have parents, brothers, sisters, or something, and they're all very negative and they keep giving you bad feedback. Don't go and visit them as often. And when you do go, don't stay so long. When you go in, have another appointment that you have to go to in maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Say, I wanted to come. I've got to be out of here in 30 minutes because I have an appointment. And make an appointment. Don't lie. Tell them the truth. And then you don't have to stay so long. Okay? But I understand if you're spending a lot of time with them, that's your decision.
Okay. Next question is from Maja. What are the advantages and disadvantages of hypnosis? Can you tell me more about mastery level of awareness?
Well, mastery level of awareness, I don't know if anybody masters awareness. I think you continually develop your awareness. Hypnosis is where a hypnotist, some of them don't even know what they're doing. They're unconsciously competent at it, but they can't articulate what they're doing. The truth is they're setting aside, if you were the subject and I was the hypnotist, I would set aside your inductive reasoning factor. And I do that through fascination, agreement, or shock. And when I've got it set aside, then I'm going directly to your innate mind. So I would see you doing something and I would suggest you do it, and I got to know that you're doing it and you will do it. So what I've done is set aside the part in your conscious mind that causes you to think, gives you the ability to accept or reject. Most people don't use it very often anyway, because most people don't think. The advantage of hypnosis is if you've got a very strong habit and you're having difficulty breaking it, you can go to a hypnotist and they will put an idea in your subconscious mind that'll help you do what you want to do rather than what you don't want to do. Now, the problem with this is you got to keep going back to the hypnotist every day or two for quite a while, Because although they're planting an idea, that idea has to be fed. And you're probably not disciplined enough to do it yourself. I've studied hypnosis a long time ago. I can hypnotize people. It's not something that I do. It's not something I'm interested in, but I certainly understand it. You know? The mastery level of awareness, well, you just keep studying this and you're going to become more and more aware. I've been studying it now almost all my adult life. I wouldn't say I've mastered it, but I certainly developed it. Okay. Next one.
Next one is from Mariki. Now that the program is nearly at its end, what would you recommend as a follow-up program?
I wouldn't have a follow-up. I'd go right back and start all over again. I've been studying this program, along with other ones at the same time. I've been studying this since 1961. Hold on a minute. It's a good place to do this. One minute. See, yeah, hold on. There we are. Hold on. Now look here. See what this is? That's a record. This is a portable record player.
Hello, this is Earl Nightingale, and this recording, The Magic Word, is the first of 12 you'll receive in this series titled How You Can Lead the Field in the Modern World. Before we start, I'd like you to know that I'm not going to try to tell you how to live your life. That's none of my business, nor is it anybody else's business.
Now there. I've been listening to it on records since around 1961, something like that, 62. I still study it every day. So when you say, you know, when you finish this program, you don't finish it. There's all kinds of things in there that I could ask you that you don't really understand yet because you've only listened to it once. I've been through this, I don't know how many times. And you see, it's the repetition that creates the awareness. Okay? There's another program, it's called Thinking into Results. It's an incredible program. We have that. We have people that sell it, consultants. And they're very good. Next one.
All right, next one's from Ishmael. 2 questions. First one, I'm really happy and grateful that I came across the Lead the Field program. I'm still struggling sometimes to make things happen. How do I stay consistent and on the path?
Listen, you know the good thing is you're aware you're not keeping it happening all the time, but you're also aware of the material. So just be thankful that you found it and you recognize when you're going off track. Most people never get on track. Most people are off track all of their life. Listen to them, watch how they live, and then thank God that you're not with them. So just keep studying. You'll get better and better at it. Okay.
And second question, can you teach me how to pray?
Yes, I can. I want you to stop and listen to this. This is a definition of prayer that's the best I've ever heard. Prayer is the movement that takes place between spirit and form, with and through you. All things are possible through prayer. Most people get down on their knees and they make a noise. They talk to, I don't know who, an imaginary man in a cloud or something. Or they go and light a candle and they repeat the same words every time. That's some kind of a ritual, a habitual ritual, but that's not praying. Praying is open your mind and see the good that you desire. Turn it over to the spirit within you, to the universal subconscious mind, and then feel it move into form. That's what real prayer is. Prayer is the movement that takes place between spirit and form, with and through you. Next one there.
Okay, next one's from Gilbert. When you have made mistakes in the past, Bob, or said things under extreme pressure or circumstances, what have you done to move on?
Well, I think you forgive yourself and then keep on going. Usually do that when we're very frustrated. There's something bothering us. And so, we say or do things that we probably innately know aren't really not good or nice. We make mistakes. What we've got to do is realize you're not your mistake. You're not your past. I mean, it's in the past. You've got to let it go. Just forgive yourself. There's a 3-step approach that I learned from Michael Beckwith, and it is really good. When anything happens, it is what it is, accept it. This is the 3 steps. This is the first step. It is what it is, accept it. If it's happened, you can't change it. It is what it is, accept it. It's either going to control you or you'll control it. Number 2, harvest the good. I love the word harvest. I like that. Harvest the good. Just look for the good in it. And number 3, forgive all the rest. Let everything else go. So you just think, well, what's good about this? And there is something good about it. Okay?
Okay, next one is from Sharon. Our team at work is taking the TIR program. As the leader, what should I expect to see in terms of changes in behavior of a person on my team as they go through struggles with their paradigms?
Well, you're going to see it'll be different things with different people. Look for the positive. And if you see them struggling, say, is there any way I can help you? Help them. Don't criticize them. Help them. If they're going through the TIR program, they've tackled something just the same as you have with this. You're going to see changes in their behavior. First, you'll notice it in their attitude. And if you see a positive change in anything they do, compliment them on it. Bring it to their attention. Say, I like the way you're doing that. I like the way you see that. I like the way you say that. Compliment them. Help them. Okay?
Next one is from Ofer. Thank you for this program. I'm in the first lesson and I love it. How can a person stop reacting to conditions or circumstances and start to respond while maintaining the right attitude?
Practice. That's the way you're going to do it. Practice. Just be aware of what you're doing. And if you're reacting, just stop it. Just say stop. You could say it out loud if you want. Just stop. Say, I'm not going to react to this. I'm not going to let her upset me. I'm not going to let him upset me. I'm not going to let it upset me. Doesn't matter what they say, do, what happens. You are going to stay in control of you. And when you don't feel bad about it. Let it go. The good thing is if you notice you are reacting, then you can stop. Maybe difficult to stop. Sometimes there's a certain amount of joy in reacting. We want to fight it, Let it go. Okay?
All right, next one's from Dave. If the universe wants to bring our desires as quickly as we allow, wouldn't putting dates on goals slow the process because our subconscious starts pacing us for the time we allowed?
Tracy, I had it difficult. There was a breakup in the sound here. Can you repeat that?
Yep. It's from Dave. If the universe wants to bring our desires as quickly as we allow, wouldn't putting dates on goals slow the process because our subconscious starts pacing us for the time we allowed?
Yes, it could slow you down. That's for sure. But you've also got to understand that work expands to fill the time allotted for it. If you don't put a time on it, you may never reach it. By putting the time, you can shorten the time through concentration. So it could slow you down, but I think it's a good thing to put on it. And you're guessing. You have no idea how long it's going to take.
Right? Next one's from Laura. About 5 to 6 weeks ago, I've decided to wake up 1 hour early daily to study. My paradigm is working very hard at all levels to stop me from doing it. Any suggestions on how to discipline myself?
Well, listen, the only way you can do it is a day at a time. There's no magic pill here. You just got to say, I'm going to do it. And when you wake up, when everything in you is saying, hit the snooze button, roll over, fall in love with your pillow again, say no. Start repeating, when I wake up, I get up. When I wake up, I get up. When I wake up, I get up. Repeat it. Put a big sign beside your bed or something. When I wake up, I get up. And even when you don't want to, you do it anyway. And pretty soon that's the way you'll be. That's the way I am. When I wake up, I get up. I don't just lay there and, it's a habit.
My paradigm got me this morning and I hit the snooze button 3 times. Sorry.
Now, wait a minute. You know the good part of that? Is you admit it. No, it is. And what we got to do is recognize what we're doing. Now, I don't know how long you snoozed for. What did you trade it for? You could think of what could I have done in that period of time that might have served me.
Well, yeah, I was frustrated because I was rushing the rest of the morning because I had to hurry up and get my kids out of the door and get logged on. And I was like, why did I do that?
Probably habit.
I need to break that. Okay, so we already did that one. All right, next one's from Tricia. What resources would you recommend in which I can learn more about being successful in affiliate sales and marketing?
Well, we run seminars on that. Tracy, if you have Tricia send an email to Brian, just send an email to Brian, Brian, at proctorgallagher.com and ask that question of him, Tricia. Because he runs webinars on it. You could learn something from there. Okay?
Okay. Next one's from Christine. Thank you for being such an excellent teacher and leader in the world. How do I deal with people who have low frequency and they are not aware of what they are saying is affecting my life goal?
Well, they have nothing to do with it. It's you that's permitting that to happen. And just make up your mind you're not going to. When you're around those people that are in that lower frequency or have a tendency to say things like that, just understand that's where they're coming from. They probably are not aware of it. Like the great teacher says, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. Let it go. But understand, if it's getting through to you, it's you that's letting it happen. You're in charge of you, Christine. You cannot change anybody else, but you can certainly change you.
Okay, so that's all the questions that we had coming in advance. I have a couple people that submitted a few, if you have a few minutes to take those.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. The first one's from Sarah. It says, Dear Bob, please tell me one more time how to get harmony in my thoughts, feelings, and especially in my actions. How to be as fast as possible on a higher frequency.
Well, I think this is why we should be doing what we want. If we're doing what we want, then it's no difficulty to do it. If we're doing it because we think somebody else wants us to want to do it, it's for the wrong reason. When you're doing something you don't want to do, you've got to work at it. Because your paradigm's probably telling you not to, and so is your intellect. Say, why are you doing this? So it's important we do what we want. Most of us are so concerned with what somebody else thinks that we don't do what we want, we do what we think they want us to want. So it's a matter of being in control of ourselves. And when you're doing what you want, wants are of a conscious nature. That's in your conscious mind, that you can talk to somebody about it. And when you start to get emotionally involved with your want, that's when you turn it into a desire. Then your conscious and subconscious mind are in harmony. Now, when they're in harmony, the body automatically moves into that vibration because it's nothing but an instrument of the mind. It's like a dumb terminal. It'll only do what the conscious and subconscious working in harmony tell it to do. Now, if your conscious mind is saying one thing and your subconscious is saying another, your body will be doing the other because the body does what the subconscious mind dictates. Okay?
Okay, next one is from Mark. Do you have any network marketing companies that you would recommend?
Listen, Mark, I think most of the network marketing companies are pretty good companies. If they've been around any length of time, they're probably a pretty solid company. If I were joining a network marketing company, it's not the company. I'd be looking for the person. I'd be looking for somebody that has a great track record, that really does a good job. The secret in network marketing is not to sell stuff. Well, that's what a lot of people think. The secret is to build an organization that the product or service flows through. Now, you've got to get a real strong leader and then join the company that leader's a part of, but join through that leader. And then that leader's going to work with you. So I think the person that you sign up with is more important than the company itself. I'd find somebody, I'd start asking, who's the most successful person you know? There's people that earn millions at it, and they don't work very hard because they build a big organization.
Next one's from Thomas. I'm currently without a job and on unemployment and living rent-free with my parents. I consider this free time extremely valuable to work on my video game project, company, and social media promotions without stress. I've been lackluster in search for employment. Am I crazy and irresponsible for doing this in pursuit of something I really want and believe can bring me massive personal success?
Well, I don't know if I can give you an honest answer on that. I couldn't do that. See, in my opinion, first of all, I don't know how old you are, but we've got to take responsibility for ourselves. We can't be leaning on somebody else. And that's a bad habit. If you take a look at birds, we're in the spring of the year, which is on its way now, We have a lot of birds that build nests right near our door and beside the pool. We've got a few trees there. And a lot of them build nests. And we have a lot of them do this. And it's interesting to watch. They lay the eggs, they sit on the eggs, and then when the bird is hatched, very short period of time after it's hatched, they kick that bird out of the nest. And that bird's on its own. Now they stick around for a little while. They go and pick a worm up or something and bring it over and give it to them. But that bird's out there and it's got to start fending for itself shortly after it's born. I always thank God. I started working when I was 9. So you say, what were you doing? I was delivering papers. But I've worked since I was 9. I had a lot of dumb jobs and bad jobs, but I've always been a good worker. It just that for a long time I wasn't very smart. I wasn't aware, so I caused myself a lot of problems. I believe you'd be better off if you got out and earned some money. Build your game while you're doing it, but you finance it. Now, that's my perception.
And then he has a second part to his question.
Yeah.
Bob, you have said that multiple sources of income does not mean multiple jobs. However, to set up these MSIs, doesn't it require the effort you put into a job, at least until the cash is flowing?
Well, yeah, you got to put time into it. Like if you're building a game, and let's say you build the game, and the game is a super success. I mean, God, you got people all over the world playing that game, and you're getting paid by every one of them. That's multiple sources of income. What was the question?
It says, you've said that multiple sources of income does not mean multiple jobs. However,
Yeah.
to set up these, it requires effort.
Well, yeah, you've got to put effort into it. I mean, nothing's going to happen without some effort. And you've got to be pretty creative. And you probably have to put a fair amount of energy into it. I mean, I worked very hard to get what I'm doing going. And it wasn't easy. I worked very hard at it, and I still do. But I love it. I can't even imagine doing anything else because I love it. Well, if you're doing something you don't love, then you're really forcing yourself to do something that's not very nice. You're not happy with it. You don't like it. But MSIs are a great way to earn money because you have it coming in from different people. You can earn money when you're sleeping if you've got it set up right. Like you build a game and you sell the game, people on the other side of the world will be playing it while you're sleeping, but you still collect the money from it. It's like an entertainer. They make a record or a recording. And every time that thing's played, they get something. You know, you listen to a radio. Every time a song is played, somebody's earning money. It may not be much, may only be a part of a penny or something, but they're earning money. Every time the song is played on any station. And if it's on 50 stations, they get 50 pennies or whatever it is. It's called royalties. I have a niece, a granddaughter, and her birthday is on Valentine's Day. So I was talking to her on Valentine's Day, and she made a commercial for Volvo. She's a model, very successful one. And she was telling me that they decided to, the commercial's out, it's running, I've seen it. They decided to change it, make a shorter version and put it online. So she got more money, they sent her more money. She didn't do more work. That's multiple sources.
Okay. Next one is from Ziba. I'm a single woman and spend most of my time alone. Things are shaping up well with work, but I feel very lonely because I can't find people I have anything to connect on.
Well, you've got to get interested in something. And then and find somebody that's interested in it. There's all kinds of things you can do. Stop and think of something that you would enjoy doing. You may not know how to do it. Go and take lessons. Learn how to do it. See, if you're just spending time alone doing nothing, you're probably bored. Well, understand boredom is it's the absence of a creative idea. So if you want to eliminate the boredom, get a creative idea going in your mind. God, you could start a club for lonely single people. You know what it's like. So think of ways to help them get out of that. You've experienced it. That's essentially what I did with this. I was losing and I got studying stuff and I figured out how to win. And I turned it into a business. Now we help people all over the world win.
Okay. We have another one from John. It says, "Hi, Bob. In session 11, I feel like you are talking directly to me when you say that we read books and go to seminars and we still struggle. It has definitely helped me over the years, but I feel I have a long way to go."
Well, if you're struggling, you've got to take a look at how you're utilizing your time. Okay? And go over the lesson and say, am I doing everything that's in here? And if you're not, start doing it. Start paying attention to what you are doing. And say, this is not serving me. I'm going to stop doing this. Now, if you stop doing it, what are you going to start doing? Because there's going to be a space there. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you want to add something to your life, you let go of something. I would study that lesson. I would do double duty on it, keep studying it. See, everybody gets the same amount of time, so it's what we do with it that makes the difference. Okay?
All right, we have next one from Blazina. How to speed up process if I have a clear goal?
How to what?
How can I speed up the process if I have a clear goal?
Concentration. Concentration. Concentration increases amplitude of vibration. It takes the energy that's flowing in and it sends it out at a much faster space or speed. Concentration increases amplitude of vibration. You're giving more energy to it in a shorter period of time. That's how you do it. Well, Miss Tracy, you did a very good job.
Why, thank you. I've got to jump off and jump on our staff call now.
Pardon?
I've got to jump off and jump on the staff call now for our Lead the Field.
You are just so busy. See, that's because you're so good at what you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.